On the News Express, students' body NANS asked federal government to declare state of emergency on security. Federal government rules investors for hydrogen development in natural gas sector. Protest rocks Nasarawa over Supreme Court's judgment on governor's poll. On the foreign scene, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu publicly rejects a U.S. push for Palestinian state, and in sports, Algerian influencer Belemani deported and banned from Ivory Coast for life. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. Vice President Kashim Shettima has expressed optimism that the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, would help galvanize gross domestic product (GDP) growth on the continent. The spokesperson of the Vice President, Stanley Nwokocha, said in a statement that Shettima spoke during a breakfast with African heads of state to launch the action plan for AfCFTA. The breakfast was held on the sidelines of the ongoing World Economic Forum held in Davos, Switzerland. Shettima said that based on the World Bank projections, AfCFTA would increase Africa's GDP by $450 billion in 2035 and exports by more than 81%. He also observed that negotiations have turned out to be too slow, with clashes between national and continental priorities. This, according to him, has led to too few consummated deals among countries since January 2021 to date. He urged Africa's private sector players to be proactive in stepping up to the plate to occupy their pride of place in trade on the continent. The Sokoto State Committee for the Review of Wasteful and Unnecessary Government Assets has stated that appointees of the immediate past Governor Aminu Tambuwal went away with no fewer than 745 government vehicles. The committee said it was able to recover only 32 of the vehicles, adding that 40 of them had been taken to Niger Republic. The committee's chairman, Alhaji Jelani Kago, while presenting the report of its findings, Governor said the committee also discovered a government property for 60 million. The Supreme Court has affirmed the election of the Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborevwori. The court dismissed the appeals by the All Progressive Congress and its candidate Ovie Omoagege and the Labour Party and its candidate Ken Pella against the governor. In Omoagege's appeal, the 5-member panel led by Justice John Okoro said the appeal lacked merit and the appellant was unable to discharge the burden of proof placed on him. Pella's appeal was also dismissed for lack of merit. 8 women, including widows, on Friday afternoon staged a protest in Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital, to express their displeasure over the Supreme Court's judgment which affirmed the election of Governor Abdullahi Sule of the All Progressive Congress. The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, David Omobugadu, had dragged Sule to court, challenging his 2023 election victory. The State Election Petition Tribunal had sacked the governor and declared Omobugadu the winner of the March 18, 2023 election, but the appeal court reinstated Sule and held that the tribunal wrongly relied on the evidence of 8 of the PDP witnesses whose statements on oath were not loaded alongside the petition. Ahead of negotiations for the payment of a new minimum wage scheduled to commence in April 2024, the organized labor has submitted a list of its representatives who will represent Nigerian workers on the negotiation panel, which is said to be constituted by the federal government. For a new minimum wage to be implemented, a tripartite committee is often set up by the federal government to ensure smooth negotiations. For the committee set up by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019, the tripartite committee was headed by the then head of civil service of the Federation, Ama Pepple. The committee also had as some of its members representatives of the organized labor, comprising the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, alongside officials of government and private sector. In a bid to promote student engagement, empower student leadership, and foster a conducive learning environment that nurtures future leaders and contributes to national development, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement, Sunday Asefon, has unveiled Nigerian students' flag and the Renewed Hope Students' Agenda. He says its aim at serving as a bridge for students' engagement in government policy formation and implementation to foster student leadership, entrepreneurship, innovation, and prioritizing the needs and rights of students. Global TV's Queen Agaba reports.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement noted that the student flag and Nigerian Student Renewed Hope Agenda will focus on the identification and discussion of challenges facing students on campus, as well as ensuring an uninterrupted academic calendar.
Sensitization of student loan, as you are aware, and as at yesterday at the FEC, the Mr. President again reaffirmed his commitment and that this student loan will commence as is promised by this January, by God's grace. And I can assure you of that because it's at the last year.
Speaking further, Asefon highlighted partnership with embassies and international development organizations, which he said will attract value to the Nigerian student community, such as scholarships and exchange program.
The Nigerian Civil Defense has just launched a safe school program. We believe that most of our campuses are not fenced. The management of our school, we need to partner with them. We need to partner with security agencies to make sure that when you are a student, you're on campus, you can sleep with your eyes closed. So these are things that we believe, going beyond you study, if your environment is not conducive, it will be very difficult for you to study.
The SSA on student engagement, as part of his mandate, also reiterated the commitment of his office to improving education system in Nigeria, as well as the well-being of the Nigerian student.
I want to appeal to Nigerian students. They should be calm. They should be patient. That this government is so interested in their welfare. And we'll also be opening what we call Nigerian Student Complaint Unit. That complaint unit is a place when, as a student, if there's any issue or any harassment, maybe sex for mark as for female students, or any issue on your campus, you without even calling my number, you can log in there and make sure you lay your complaint, and your complaint will get to our table.
Queen Agaba reporting for Global TV.
As well as mobilization of Lassa fever commodities, consumables, and personal protective equipment to General Hospital Obubara and other locations have been activated. The Federal High Court in Abuja declared null and void the provisions of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code authorizing the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) to impose fines on broadcast stations for alleged breaches of the code, as it ruled that administrative and regulatory bodies could not exercise judicial powers, delivering judgment in a suit instituted by Media Rights Agenda against NBC following the Commission's imposition of fines of 5 million naira each on television station and 3 pay TV platforms in 2022 for allegedly undermining Nigeria's national security by broadcasting documentaries on banditry in Nigeria. Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogobia held that the NBC, not being a court of law, acted above its power by imposing such fines. The judge commended MRA for its legal challenge of NBC's action and issued an order of perpetual injunction restraining the commission or anyone acting on its behalf from further imposing any fine or on any media platform or broadcast station in Nigeria for any alleged offense committed under the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. In the face of the rising kidnapping and bandit ravaging some parts of the country, the National Association of Nigerian Students has called for the declaration of state of emergency on the security situation in the country. The clerk of the Students' Senate body, Oladimeji Othman, disclosed this in a statement on Friday. Othman stated that the National Association of Nigerian Students is gravely concerned about the escalating security crisis in Nigeria, particularly the surge in kidnapping and banditry that has disproportionately affected the northern region and other regions of the country. He added that declaring a state of emergency would help the government to address the security situation critically. He also suggested that the federal government should work on collaboration between the stakeholders for intelligence gathering. You're watching News Express live on Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, FCTA to establish a 1.7 billion smart secondary school. The news continues shortly with details of these and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. Thank you for staying with us. And on the foreign scene, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has told the United States that he opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state once the conflict in Gaza comes to an end. In a news conference, a defiant Netanyahu vowed to press on with the offensive in Gaza until complete victory, the destruction of Hamas and return of the remaining Israeli hostages, adding that it could take many months. Speaking to reporters following Netanyahu's latest comments, U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby recognized that the U.S. and Israel obviously see things differently. Police killed 6 suspects in an early morning shootout Thursday near South Africa's coastal city of Durban, saying they had targeted a gang after a spate of house robberies and murders. South African Police Service said they operationalized intelligence about the whereabouts of the suspects who were wanted for a spate of house robberies, murders, business robbery, and carjacking. When they arrived at a house in Nanda, a crime-ridden township northwest of the port city, they were met with a hail of bullets. 3 suspects, a woman and 2 men, were arrested. According to police, 2 rifles and a shotgun were found in the house, as well as a vehicle that was stolen in December. Last September, police killed 18 people in a Ford cash-in-transit heist shootout in the country's northeast. Hundreds of flights at Frankfurt Airport in Germany were cancelled on Thursday due to a winter storm that forced the airport to briefly suspend takeoffs and landings. More than 300 of about 1,000 scheduled flights for Thursday at Frankfurt Airport were cancelled. A spokeswoman for the airport operator Frankfurt said on Thursday morning flights were taking off and landing at the airport, but air traffic was still recovering from a storm that brought ice, freezing rain and snow to much of western and southern Germany. It was unclear if additional flights might